Okay, guys, what's happening? Robert here, BP News Channel. Once again, we are live on YouTube. How's it going, everybody? Okay, so some pretty crazy, weird stuff. Now, tonight's kind of weird stuff, but there is also some news on Iran, and not sure if it's propaganda, but I wouldn't doubt it. I can't confirm that some of the stories are true that are coming out of the Middle East right now. There was reports, I think 2 days ago. I'm just kind of looking at some of the conversation on social media about these reports. But like I said, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Now, it could be propaganda. I don't know how we would know for sure, because I'm sure that if the event really did happen the way it's being portrayed online by the Iranians, the Iranian media, then we might not hear about it. That's just the way it works in war. They don't tell you. And everything is done under the cover of, secrecy. And a lot of that is just because of morale. They want to keep morale high. They want to keep, feeding the machine. They don't want you to feel like, you're the underdog or that you're being beat. And so what's really going on? Well, we're going to look at that too. The whole alien thing, though, is very interesting to me. I just posted, because this is coming from very high-level government officials. Now another a government official out of Australia is saying the same thing. It's almost as if it's coordinated. Now, the guy in Australia, seemed to have a little smirk on his face. I'm not sure if this is an April Fool's joke, or because it's April 1st over there right now in Australia, but he made it sound legit. I mean, this is a topic that I don't think people would really want to fool around on, especially given the seriousness that they're trying to push this information with. You had J.D. Vance the other day give an interview about aliens with, what was his name? That big podcaster. I forgot his name. Benny Johnson. And he basically said that he knows there's a lot of weird stuff going on. He doesn't know what it is. He thinks it's demons. He doesn't think it's an actual entity that is outside of our, or out in space. He believes, J.D. Vance, according to his Christian belief, he said, I believe it's demons, which a lot of Christians believe. And I would say that that's kind of what I would take it as too, is that I would think that they're interdimensional beings. I don't think that they're actually intelligence or higher evolved species. I don't think that they're out in different planets or in the solar system. I don't, who knows? They could be demons out there too. I don't know. I personally don't know how the universe works, so I can't say I've been there. I can't say I've been there and I've figured it out or I've scientifically understood it. There's a lot of things we don't know. But that's what J.D. Vance said when he was being interviewed. I just don't understand. I don't know. I want to look into it. I've had access, but I haven't had the time because of all the things that are happening. But this is the first thing on my agenda because I am very curious about it. I really want to know. That's what he said. He wants to go to Area 51. He wants to go over there and check it out for himself, he said. It's a very interesting interview. Now, that was just the other day. Now we've got Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, very high level, very involved with the Trump administration, especially in the beginning, very big Trump supporter, and a very outspoken kind of whistleblower type representative. Everybody should know who Matt Gaetz is. If you're a Trump supporter, everybody knows who Matt Gaetz is. He's kind of like a Marjorie Taylor Greene almost personality. Now, he's had a little scandal, I guess, in the recent past, and he resigned. I don't know if he resigned because of the scandal or what, but he's been a representative for 17, 89, 6 years. He's been a representative of Florida. And he came out and he said on a podcast yesterday that he has all this information that's been given to him by high-level clearanced military about hybrid programs that are literally breeding humans and aliens. And I'm telling you, this is not, they're not making this stuff. He's not saying this is an April Fool's joke. He's got a straight face. He's going through all the details. And Benny Johnson, I think Benny Johnson interviewed him as well, was just like beside himself, like, what? And then you've got this guy in Australia who is also a representative talking about this. And he said he can't disclose all the information because it's top secret at the, I think he said at the something at death, like I can't reveal this or I'll be killed is basically what he said. And I kind of thought that comment sounded almost a little dramatic. And he showed this top secret cover. That one I think could possibly be fake, but not fake in the sense of that he didn't make it. It's on his official page on X, but it could be that he's playing a joke. I don't know. I don't think that he would, politicians would be doing that right now. I don't know. Maybe they would. But anyways, I posted this video. I haven't actually posted it yet, and I'll show you the clips of it. But I posted a very long video that is going to be released here on the channel here in the next few hours after we're done. And I'll put it as a premiere. But I'll show you some of the clips out of it here in just a minute. I'm going to show you the clips of those interviews, just so you can see the clips. But the whole 15-minute video has all kinds of news stories, everything that's compact that kind of leads you in a train of thought to understand like what this could mean. There's a lot more information that's within this video, so I would encourage you to go watch it when I post it. Now, if you're new to the channel or you're watching and you're wanting to get my attention and you're hearing me say something and you want me to talk about something, you want me to address a question or a comment that you have, and you want to get my attention, do a super chat. I will be alerted because a lot of times I don't look at the chat. Okay, just so you know, people talk to me in the chat and I don't look at the chat because I am off on all the information that I'm going through. Okay, I am looking at all these other windows. I am not monitoring the chat. Okay, my mods are monitoring. Wife would be monitoring. And if you say you want to get something across to me or you want to ask a question or insert a comment, then do a super chat and make your comment in the super chat. That way I'll get it funneled to me and I will respond to you, okay? And also for all you guys that do support the channel in every other way, we all appreciate you so much and we thank you for keeping us on the air. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be doing something else. I'd be doing a different job. But at the same time, this is a ministry as well. And so the people that do support on the ministry end of it, because we are an outreach and we have a ministry channel, BP Ministries, if you want to go over there and check out the messages. And by the way, we're going to be having a communion service tomorrow, and I will be posting times and dates. It'll probably be our times that we're going to meet, and I'll give you guys a good heads up on that with our social media. I'll let you know when it's going to happen and the link. And we're going to be doing the communion service for Passover, okay, or what you might call Easter if you're out there and you're, a Catholic or a Protestant that just celebrates Easter. But the real message behind Passover, what does it really mean? And we're going to go through some spiritual calisthenics there to get ourselves right in the place where we're supposed to be, so we can benefit from the understanding of what that, what actually happened over 2,000 years ago that is still relevant to us this very day that took place on the Passover, right? And so this is going to be happening tomorrow. Now, on the calendar there's two different Hebrew calendars, and Passover is the main calendar. It happens tomorrow, but there's another calendar that people follow. I forget what I think it's called the barley calendar, and and I think that day is a week ahead or a week after. I mean, but I'll kind of look into that because some people have questions about the different calendars. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And make sure you go over there to the ministries channel and get involved over there. For all the believers that are a part of our fellowship, faith, and church, thank you also for your prayers and getting behind what we're doing. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is so crazy. And it's so funny because, I talked to my dad not too long ago, and he was talking about aliens, like, in all the years that, I've been growing up, my dad's never talked about aliens. Now, maybe he's getting too old. I don't know. Maybe he's in that age where, they start getting a little senile. I'm not saying he's senile, but he's sitting there talking about aliens and the reality of aliens. And I know that they're all watching the news because this is something that's being bantered about in the news cycles like crazy right now. And they're saying that something's going to happen on April 1st. Okay, that other video that I posted about that dude with the cheese head, remember that guy? And the information that he brought forward. Now, I know he's got a cheese head. I know he looks stupid. He's got, crazy teeth. And he says, shamana at the end. It kind of like crazy talk. But if you really analyze what he says about the actual guy back in the mid-2000s that was supposedly abducted by aliens, and then he gave a public speech in 2012, that's all legit. That information is legit. And he talked about what would happen on Easter of 2026 with alien disclosure while America and Israel were in a war with Iran. This was something that a person said back in 2012. America and Israel would be in a war with Iran during Easter, and then all of these alien things would happen. Tell me it's not the most bizarre timing for that to actually be happening right now. Okay, that was also posted yesterday. I think I posted on the channel. So you can go back on our YouTube channel, find all this. Okay, so we're going to get into this and a whole bunch of news about Iran, because the Iran stuff is really troubling. And I think there's a lot of deception going on behind the scenes, too, with that. Obviously, we're in war. I guess that's what happens during war, right? We have lots of crazy, propaganda. What do they call it? False news, fake news, whatever they call it. Okay, so I'm looking at a couple things here. Let me make sure I got my screens up here. All right. Now, I know some people think the alien stuff is just completely irrelevant, but I think that it's an integral part of what they're doing to, and it could, and I do believe it has something to do with the powers of darkness as well. But our government is in collusion with the powers of darkness, as I told you, as I've tried to give you a little background biblically. Whether it's our government or other governments of the world, they're obviously being affected by these intelligences that are non-corporeal or corporeal. I guess, is that the right way to say it? They're not physical or human. Now, they may have a manifestation of a physical body at a certain point. In Genesis chapter 6, and Jesus referenced the time of Noah. In Genesis chapter 6, it talks about how there were hybrids. There were humans and aliens, or demons, fallen angels, that were breeding. And they were producing giants, or a hybrid human, right? They were called Nephilim. And they talk about giants, and every culture has a tradition of giants. And many times they say when you have these myths or these old memories that are written down from ancient civilizations, there's usually a little grain of truth to some of that. The men of renown, or you've got the heroes of old. Anyway, these are what the Bible says in Genesis 6, right? Well, Jesus said, as in the days of the coming of the Son of Man, as it says, as in the days of Noah, so would it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. And then he goes into saying men were eating and drinking and giving in marriage. Everybody was just kind of doing their normal thing. But there was this allusion to the time of Noah when everybody was swept away. And why were they swept away? Because there was an It wasn't just that men were evil continually, because it says that they were evil continually in their thoughts, but it was that their DNA was tampered with and had been altered. And there was an inbred hybrid that God wanted to get rid of. That's what took place during the flood, right? And so Jesus made this connection to Genesis 6 at the time of his return, right? There would be some kind of tampering with the DNA, and this whole technology about nanotech, you got to kind of wonder about that too, because there's some very strange things going on with the nanotech world and all the scientific information and chip technologies. Where did all this come from? Seriously, this is so far beyond human comprehension, if you ask me. And then you get the AI stuff that's going beyond our ability to even fathom. We're talking about artificial general intelligence, and then it goes to artificial super intelligence, where it's literally going to take over all of humanity's collective knowledge all at one point in time. Combined. That's combined. You're talking about an intelligence that is so far beyond our comprehension. And what is it? Is it a digital Ouija board? Is it like a portal that we've given access to these demonic powers to enter into our time and space? Because that's what it says. Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has been cast down to you, for he knows his time is short, and he is filled with epic fury. Oh, epic fury. Oh, there you go. He is filled with great wrath, because he knows his time is short, because the Lord is coming back, as in the days of Noah, to set the record straight. Because why? This alien craziness. And the aliens are amongst us, they're saying. Now, they're literally saying aliens are being. And this is what the whole Epstein thing was about. If you really looked into Epstein was doing this hybrid DNA selective breeding program, and it had some connection to the vaccine agenda and everything. If you go back and look at some of the emails, how many of you guys have done the research on this? This is bizarre stuff, man. I'm just telling you. This is a very deep rabbit hole that we're talking about here. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but there are people missing right now. A lot of these people are scientists that have connections to the whole world of the information that surrounds the alien agenda. And right at the time that Trump revealed the release of these files, all of these high-level people started disappearing. Scientists, physicists, people that are studying, that are some way connected to the alien stuff, started disappearing. And they happen to be disappearing out in the middle of the woods. You just got to see this video. You've got to see this video that I'm posted here. This is the video right here. I haven't released it yet. I haven't released this video yet. You can see it's on the unlisted format right here. So I'm going to be unlisting it and doing a premiere after we're done here. So you can go back in the archives and watch it tomorrow or tonight if you wanted to watch it. But it'll be posted on the channel for tomorrow. But I'm going to show you a few clips. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's like 15 minutes long. But here is Matt Gaetz talking about hybrids. Okay? This is Matt Gaetz. Now listen carefully to what Matt Gaetz says. Former representative, Fox News analyst. He's a Fox News analyst, former rep for 6 years. Outspoken, very integral in the whole Trump revolution, very high-level guy, but went through a little scandal recently. But here he is talking to Benny Johnson. Listen to what he says.
I think the most important information will be the biologics that are not human that have been discovered. And even some of the briefings that aren't classified just need to be out in the public. I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating. what the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack
Yeah,
that?
I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office at in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of my.
Listen to that. So he said humans were abducted from war zones and from those caravans that were coming up from Mexico, and they were brought into these programs. Now, this is very important information that you should be remembering when you're watching all the other stuff too. That part right there. Just remember that.
Migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
What do you mean non-human biologics? Like this?
Well, that was the testimony of David Grush before the House Oversight Committee,
Yeah.
which I joined, and the testimony was that in crashes of craft that had been recovered by the CIA and through a special program that the CIA had for crash recovery, that it wasn't just the hard materials, it was also biologics, but that they couldn't identify a human source of those biologics.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. It's true.
Okay, now this is the rep out of Australia. His name is Senator Babbitt. I checked it out. This is a legitimate account. This is a legitimate post. I went and did the research to make sure this guy wasn't, he could be doing an April Fool's joke because it is April 1st right now in Australia. But listen to what he says and then tell me if he doesn't look like he's kind of like got a smirk on his face. Like, is he joking? I mean, I still don't know. He could literally be this could be legit.
News. It's true. There are aliens living amongst us. There are aliens in Area 51. There are even alien human hybrids. I have been briefed this morning in a top secret intelligence briefing that exposes all. Unfortunately, I am forbidden from speaking about it under pain of death. But know this, I will fight for accountability and I will fight for transparency. There is more to come. Stay tuned.
All right. Under the pain of death. So he said under the pain of death. That kind of makes me think that it's a joke because I don't know if that would be said normally. Like under the pain of death, he makes this really short little statement. It is April 1st, so there's a possibility this could be an April Fool's joke on some of the things that he's hearing out of the United States. I don't know yet. But listen to what I said. This is a part of what I said. So just here's what else I said about this. This is actually a senator in Australia. I just looked it up. It sounds almost fanciful, like it's like he's making a joke, but this is legit. This is his. He pushed it up there, and I just put the screenshot direct on it. This is who that is, Senator Babbitt. And that's who he is right there. And by the way, that post was only made 4 hours ago. It's already got almost 1 million views. It was made 4 hours ago. So I just saw it like about a half an hour ago, a little over a half hour ago. And it already had 1 million views and it had only been posted 4 hours ago. So that's going crazy viral. Now, they could be doing that, just for the hell of it. But, just as a joke. But, who knows? He's 42 years old. He's of the United Australia Party. He's been a senator for Victoria in the Australian Parliament since 2022, representing the United Australia Party. So there he is. So anyways, and then the other one that I wanted you to see was, now, like I said, this is a very long video, but I'm not going to go through everything here. I wanted to show you one other thing here, I think. Well, there's some very... This is also just so far out there. All right, I'm not going to go into all that. Okay, let's just move on. This one is coming from Shadow of Ezra account on X, and it says UFO expert Stephen Greer warns that rogue actors inside the government are now on the verge of staging a fake alien invasion across the entire planet. He says the operation would be so advanced that it could easily deceive most of the world, including top government officials. The goal, he claims, is to manufacture fear and justify a one-world government with unlimited power and zero accountability. The ability to hoax an attack on our planet is real, quote unquote. And that's him talking right there. And this one here, I'm trying to remember what this one was. Let me see what this one was here really quick. Great.
Of their chemicals will be spraying.
All right, that's another topic. I'll get in that one in a minute. And then this one, I'll get into this topic. This is very interesting also. Gosh, this is just so terrible. This is the Iranian conflict with U.S. I wanted to get into this one as well. This guy, I'm not sure. This guy, I don't know. He kind of says, he kind of cusses a little bit in there. I'll have to try to see if I can bleep it out. Okay, so I think that's it on the alien stuff right now. And we'll go into the other topics here. Let me just go through some of the news very quickly. Oh, gosh. You know how Christine Nome, oh, man. So supposedly her husband, and this is legit because it's all in the news now, I guess they found and disclosed her husband's fetish with cross-dressing and a bunch of pictures of him. She has resigned, from what I understand. DHS Secretary Christine Nome, according to reports, say that she has now resigned because of this. And it says something to the effect of she's very, heartbroken. This has blindsided her. She had no idea, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is what it says right here. Christine Nome is asking for privacy and prayers after her husband was exposed for living a secret double life and a cross-dresser with unusual fetishes, with her representative saying that the family was blindsided. Some of the commentary that came out was that she might have been being set up for resignation, or that she was being politically blackmailed. Okay. All right. So let's start from the beginning of the day here and try to go through this quickly. There's a lot of news here. We'll just go through it as fast as I can here. And this started here at, geez, we posted a lot here. And by the way, did you see this? Did I show you this video of Kid Rock and how this Black Hawk comes up to his house and he basically salutes it and it just hovers over his house for a little bit and then it takes off? And they're doing an investigation into why that happened, because that's not, you're not allowed to do that kind of thing, you know? Anyway, military did it and that's what happened. And I'm sure that Trump knew about it. I don't think it was something that didn't happen without their knowledge. People, guys in military just don't do that kind of thing. Now, I know he's a big advocate for, the MAGA movement, but okay. So earlier today, Trump was signaling that the UK and Europe needed to step up and fight now, and that we as America are not going to, go into this ground war alone, and or even possibly might not even do it. We've already did everything that we needed to do, right? We already did the heavy lifting. Trump is now saying it's your turn. You get out there and fight for your own energy. We don't need this energy, right? Yes, we do. Actually, we are. Our whole system, our whole global economy is failing because of this. The petrodollar is collapsing because of this. And for anybody, especially MAGA people out there that think, oh yeah, Trump is right, the rest of the world can go to hell, and as long as we're okay, we've got enough energy, we're energy independent. No, we're not an island. No, yes, we are interdependent in some way upon a lot of countries, including our NATO countries and Europe, and not to mention everybody else. When everybody starts dying off and having famine and internal chaos and civil unrest and the collapse of government, then yes, it's going to affect the whole world, including the U.S. We're not going to just be hiding under a rock. So Trump started this, and now he's telling Europe to go fight. And Trump's making demands about if they don't open, we're going to blow them into Timbuktu. But now he's pulling back. You know why he's pulling back all of a sudden? Because he knows how serious this is. He knows we're on the brink of actual nuclear war. He knows this. Trump knows that he's either figuring it out, or he already knew it was going to happen, or his ego was so big that he got blinded to what he was actually doing. You know what it reminds me of? Have you ever heard of somebody that gets so mad that they see red? They don't even know what they're doing. They are so overwhelmed by emotion and rage, and then they wake up and said, oh, did I kill somebody? Whoops, I don't know, I blacked out. Like that's kind of the mindset that I get from what I see going on right now. It's like these people have no clue what they're actually doing because they're so overwhelmed with the way things look, and their ego, and they're pumped up on whatever adrenaline. I don't know if they've what's going on with these leaders, but they're pushing us into a literal global collapse. And they say it's the New World Order. I don't know. This is Trump's New World Order, or is this Putin's New World Order? Because now Putin's coming out and saying that it's a New World Order according to their standard and their design. Did you hear Lavrov come out today, the defense minister, saying that it's a new global order and that we're going through the pains of the transition? Guys, America is on the way out. I just hope your ego is in check, because you're going to have to, you know what it reminds me of is when somebody has a big ego and they're so prideful, they get into a fight and they start getting beat by someone that's a lot better than them in terms of their skills. They're just knocking them down, and they get back up. Their pride is so huge that they're willing to overlook how weak they are and how inept and incompetent they are to fight this force that is so much more trained and powerful, and that has outmaneuvered them and outsmarted them, and they just keep getting up and getting knocked down again. Their pride is so big that they're willing to die. I've seen fighters like this. It's in the animal world too. You'll see animals fight to the death because they're just so committed to the fight. And I can see America doing this very thing right now, just engaged in a fight that is going to lead to the ultimate demise. And so Trump says we need to Europe needs to step up. Quote, we did the hard part. Now it's your turn to fight for your energy. We are not going to hold your hand anymore. It's so funny because I always think of that. There's a guy that always, he's on YouTube, and he's supposedly like a prophet guy. Some of you guys might know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name, but he always is trying to get people to support him. And I understand we all need support, but we can't be beggars. We can't sound like we're babies. And he's always at the end, he says, will you please hold our hand? we really need your support. Will you please just hold our hand? We're going through dark times, and we need you to hold our hand. Like, okay, come on, let's grow up. Let's be. This is what Trump is trying to tell the world, right? Hey, we're not going to hold your hand anymore. All right, this is it. You're on your own. But see, Trump doesn't really mean that, because what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're just doing this as a favor for the whole world. Oh, you mean we threw the whole world into chaos as a favor, and now we're going to back out, and we're going to tell you to take care of it? Who does that? Who just throws everything into chaos and then says, okay, we're done. Now you take care of it. It's your mess. Yeah, you don't have oil, you don't have gas right now, you don't have anything right now, and it's your fault. So you go ahead and get out there and you fight, because we're done. What's going on here? Tel Aviv. Oh, we got to go look. Okay, so let's look. Let's look at what's going on. There's going to be some missiles coming in here. Okay, be looking at the top right-hand corner. That's Tel Aviv right there. You can see the sound. You'll probably be seeing it right there. Last night, I saw a huge amount of smoke coming out of Tel Aviv. Some big impacts on this feed because they don't hide the camera, so you can watch it happen. So right now, this is live right out of Tel Aviv, and we'll probably see or at least hear the impacts. By the way, guys, make sure you share this feed everywhere on your social media. Get it out there. Help us out. Get it to the four winds. Share it wherever you can, everywhere that you know. This is very vital information. Okay, usually this is when the bombs come in. It's like after they shut the siren off, you'll hear them come in. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you don't hear anything. But I say half the time you'll hear big booms. And last night I saw big flashes. I saw a huge columns of smoke, like maybe 3 different columns of smoke over Tel Aviv here. So there were some big impacts. Okay, so the top left hand is also... Okay, I hear something. You could sometimes hear them coming in too. Okay, I heard a little boom. I heard another one. Far away though, they're far away. Heard another one. A little farther away. There's another one. These are farther away though. You can tell there's another one. And you can watch the thing at the top, right up here. Oh, there's a big one. That's a big loud one. That was a loud one. You can see it up here. You can see the little sound thing up here at the top. If you wanted to see it, when it goes down, you can see the sound. There, the other ones have it here down here too. There's some more booms. some more. There's another one. There's another one. Oh, another one. That sounded big. Those are hypersonics. Those are hitting. Those are not missing. They're hitting the ground. Those are not being blown up in the sky. Those are hitting the ground. And we may see smoke, because that's what happened last time. The smoke came up later, and I couldn't actually see them impact because it's a far away visual. The actual camera shot is pretty far away. The one on the left, though, is pretty close. So that's probably about it. So a cluster, they said a cluster, let's see. I could show you what happened last night if you guys want to see. It's just the same visual there with just some smoke coming up. But they were really loud explosions. There was one that was so loud it scared me, so because it was right near the camera, and it just blew up right near the camera. And you could see the flash, but you couldn't see the explosion. You could just see like a glow. And the camera guy he just kept it steady. I mean, I just was like freaked out. It was so loud. But I didn't post it because I didn't have time to upload it. Anyways, let's get back to the news there. Let me just shut these off. If it happens again, we'll go back. All right, so getting back to our feed here. The Pentagon considers deploying powerful anti-drone laser systems near Hegseth's and Rubio's residences at Fort McNair military base in D.C. You know, a lot of these politicians now are living at military bases, right? So they've got these laser defense lasers that will take out drones. And that's something that I guess is technology they've got to defend against. These are the drones, or these are the lasers here. Anti-laser systems. And they're going to protect their residences that are on military bases. Is that going to be possible with all the new technology now? Well, I'm just telling you, I think Iran is working very closely with Russia with satellite targeting. I think that we've had a lot of casualties that we're not hearing about in our news. I think that a lot of our bases have been completely, utterly destroyed in the Middle East. And this is why you see Trump kind of raging at certain points in time, and then he'll pull back. So Hegseth says, I don't understand why the MAGA base wouldn't have faith in Trump. And then Israel's no-show on the front lines. It's only going to be American soldiers going on to the front lines, not Israeli soldiers. They're not having any Israeli soldiers in a ground war for Iran. It's just going to be American. If you're okay with that, you know, that's on you. But Hegseth doesn't understand why the base, which would be MAGA, wouldn't have faith in what Trump is doing, because he's been right so many times. You know, he's just made us all feel so good for so long. Just one more pump of that opium and you'll feel just fine. You know, it's just like, oh, you just need one more shot, man. Just get one more big dose. You'll feel just fine. Everything will be fine. It's like going into battle like the Germans. They would pump up their soldiers with a bunch of meth and send them out there to go die. Just pump them up with meth. This was the one I guess I heard, the the flash or saw the flashes here. Let me see if I can just show you real quick. This was last night. I was watching. Watch, you'll see a flash here in a minute. Watch this. It scared me to death. Listen to all the booms. See the red there, a little red glow. This is Israel, guys. This is near Haifa. This is Carmel near Haifa. Yeah. So, yeah, that was last night. Stock market soars. Trump says, and then the market goes 1,000 points up. And then the next day, we're going to destroy them. Fire the missiles. And then the market tanks again. I'm serious. Like, whatever Trump says, the market's like, whatever you say, we're making money. It doesn't matter. It's all fake anyway. It says the market soared 1,000 points after Trump tells his aides he's willing to end the war without reopening Hormuz. Yeah, we're willing to just walk away now, even though we look like complete idiots for starting this, and now we're going to walk away and just say it's all Europe's fault, and they're going to have to take care of it. Whatever. We're out of here. We're out of here. Let's get out of here. You can't just open up Pandora's box and then try to stuff it back in. It's too late. It's too late, baby. Now it's too late. It's over. Oracle axes thousands of jobs in a massive layoff. All of a sudden, just emails everybody in the morning. Hey, your job is gone. 6 a.m. email. You're done. You're fired. Sorry. We don't need you anymore. We got AI. We got AI. We don't need you anymore. Sorry. Yeah, we were going to try to open up that straight, but hey, it's all right. We don't need you anymore. Goodbye. You're just going to have to suffer now. You thought you were helping us out, right? Getting on board with all the AI. Now it's taken over. Now your jobs are going to go bye-bye. Because of AI, your job is bye-bye. That's New York Post. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov says that we are in the middle of reshaping of the New World Order. Here's his direct quote. Right now, the restructuring looks more like disruption. The fight for power across the world is fierce. They call that perestroika. They call it perestroika, remember? I think it's perestroika. Perestroika means a series of political and economic reforms. I believe it means restructuring. Restructuring and reforming. Even though it was fake back in the 80s, all they did was they pretended to be all... Actually, they allowed it to happen. But it was all about getting funding from the U.S., aid from the U.S., economic help, and... money that was heavily invested into Russia from the U.S. And that was what the whole restructuring was, perestroika. And they also had glasnost. It was called openness. Glasnost means open. We're going to open up. We're going to let the world in. You know, our whole economy and everything's going to fall apart, but it's all about openness and restructuring. And America's going to help us do it, right? This is what all the communist revolution books talk about, how they're going to destroy the West. They said the West will sell us, or they will give us the rope by which we will hang them with. And so perestroika is the rope by which we were lured into giving them all this money so that they could ultimately come back and hang us with the same rope that we gave them. The West is making the rope by which they're going to be hung on. The Telegraph reports that jet fuel prices have doubled after the Iran war, and airlines around the world are canceling thousands of flights. According to reports, at least one flight out of every 20 flights scheduled for Monday has been canceled. And that's only going to get worse. That's just going to get worse. And it's going to be all around the world. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps announced an attack on a U.S. Force Flight Crew accommodation facility in Saudi Arabia. This woman here is a U.S. citizen. She's also a journalist in the Middle East. She has to wear that little hijab when she's out there. She was kidnapped by what they say were Iranian militia or somehow affiliated with Iran inside of Iraq, Baghdad. But I think they caught the guys that abducted her, and they chased the car, and they had a shootout. She got wounded. She's in the hospital, but thank God she didn't die. But yeah, that was a pretty big deal, I guess. Netanyahu admits that he started the war on Iran in order to transform Israel into a super nation. Yep, that's true. He said it. It's right there. Go look at it on YouTube. Go look at it. I got it up there on my YouTube channel. Alert, incoming alien agenda, U.S. Representatives Matt Gaetz. There is alien hybrid breeding program in the United States. Okay, so there we got that one. J.D. Vance making the rounds on the alien topic as well. Iran has called on all employees of Google, NVIDIA, Apple, IBM, Tesla, Intel, Cisco to leave the companies immediately by 8 p.m. Tehran time on Wednesday. You know why? Because they're going to start bombing all of these companies all throughout the Middle East. If there's any company that has anything to do with the U.S., they're going to bomb it. And they have the ability to do that. They have these long-range, medium-range, hypersonic missiles that are very accurate. They're satellite-directed, and I'm sure they're being fed all that information from you-know-who. Just like we were feeding all that information to you-know-who against Russia. This is Russia's payback. Russia's paying us back. And you can't stop these hypersonics. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted. I'll show you right here. This is a hypersonic missile incoming over U.S. troops. This is video from U.S. troops at a U.S. Air Force base under attack by hypersonic Iranian missiles. And I want you to see how fast an Iranian hypersonic missile comes in. This is the way they are. This is how fast they come in. This is not doctored up or anything, but just watch.
Oh, there's some. Oh,
Are y'all good? Everybody's good. Everybody over here is good. Yeah.
good. I saw that one come in.
You guys all right? Everybody okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, watch it again. Those are our boys. Those are our young men. I'm sure there's some women in there too.
Oh, there's some. Oh, Oh.
Sorry about that. I had my microphone off there. Sorry. So the UK is getting more deeply involved here, and Stromer is denying involvement, but yet the Defense Secretary, John Haley, says that British troops and air defenses are being deployed to the Middle East. So a lot more involvement than what they're saying on the surface. And many times that's what happens. Leaders will tell you one thing, but there's also something else going on that nobody knows on the background or behind the scenes. Global demand for, or global demand destruction. What? Global demand destruction. Okay. Subsidies, empty gas stations, rationing, flight cancellations, export limits, price controls. Peace and safety, the then sudden destruction. It should be then. Let's see, let me fix that. Then sudden destruction. This is a Zero Hedge article. Now, that part we just added there, but the Zero Hedge article talks about the whole falling apart of the global economy. The food supply chain is breaking again, and this is what we keep warning you about. This is going to ripple all throughout the whole of the world, and it's going to be like a bubble in your brain coming through your arteries. It's going to cause a stroke, okay? And there may be a few of these bubbles coming. Heart attack, stroke, the whole global food supply chain, and it's not just food, but it's probably going to be all kinds of things that have to do with petrochemicals. Anything that's made with petrochemicals is going to be affected. Plastics, everything. There's pharmaceuticals, everything is going to be affected. Okay, not to mention the tariffs and everything else that goes along with that. Now that we're no longer playing, nice with each other while we're planning and plotting war. Now it's out in the open. Now we know we're at war. Now, countries are going to sanction us. We're probably going to have Russia and China sanctioning us because they've got the upper hand now economically. Countries are dumping everything American. That's what I think is happening. Spring has sprung, which means the seeds that were planted in late winter are starting to germinate. They're hungry and will only grow to their full nutritional potential if they're well fed. But that apparently isn't happening as fertilizer supplies are interrupted by yet another pointless Middle East war. Another thing, major supply of fertilizers come through the Middle East and through those straits. And now you've got Yemen threatening to shut down the Gate of Tears, right, is that other strait. So now you've got two straits being shut down at the same time, and a huge amount of supplies comes through there for the whole world. And that fertilizer supply is going to affect all the food on the planet. So it will affect America too. I'm just going to tell you right now, we will have effects of all this that's happening. We're not going unscathed. We are not an island. We are definitely dependent in other things that are going to affect us. And yes, it's going to affect our bottom dollar. It's going to affect everything. I believe that there's going to be food panic type things happening once again like it was in COVID. Panic buying. I mean, look at what Zero Hedge says. This is why we should have gardens, gold, goats, and guns. This is what Zero Hedge is saying. Now, we've told you guys about what we're doing with the urban garden. Learning how to supply yourself with fresh vegetables by having a supply of seed and knowing how to make microgreens. I say sprouts are good, but microgreens are even better because they grow to a point where the maximum nutrients and minerals and everything is dense in that 7 to 14 day period. And that's when you're going to want to eat the green, right? And they taste great. I've been eating them every day. I feel better even by just doing this. In the last 2 weeks, I've been eating these greens, making little green salads every day. Awesome. You got to do it. You got to try it. We're doing our garden too, but for those who live in the city, you're going to want to think about doing this because all of your vegetable intake can be supplied on a daily rotational basis for pennies on the dollar. If you just make it yourself, learn how to do it. To be a little, in-home gardener. All you need is a shelf and a rack, and you get a little lighting system. We got the lighting systems on the site. We got all the seeds for you. We got all the trays and all the internal mesh trays that you can do it all. We got it all set up. We're putting together kits. Anybody that orders one of these 3 to 5 tray kits, I will throw in a bunch of extra seeds. And I do. I liberally supply just whatever I've got extra. I'll just start putting it in. So anybody that's been getting your kits, you've been getting a lot of extra seeds, haven't you? All right. I'm throwing in a lot more seeds. So we're putting in a lot of seeds. If you order the seeds, you get what you get, and then I'll add some more to it. Okay? I'll put in a couple pounds of extra stuff. Anywhere from a pound to 2 pounds, depending on what it is. I can't go too high because then the shipping gets really expensive, especially if you're ordering a big amount. The shipping costs are they're just out. And by the way, UPS is raising their shipping rates by 10% because of the energy crisis. So now we're going to have another 10% extra cost on shipping. Just wait till the Iranians start hacking and attacking Amazon, and then Amazon goes down. Or the internet actually can be affected by this. They've already been messing with this, I know. You're going to have empty shelves, guys. I'm just telling you. Get all your non-perishable foods, stock up on what you need. I think things are going to get bad here soon. Now, that map says America's going to be hit around the 15th of April. The rest of the world is now being hit in different time zones. The supply chain is now beginning to work its way toward the United States. They're saying about the 15th. I'll show you the map on that in a minute. Top Brussels officials urge Europeans to work from home and drive less. Political because of energy. And this is Europeans. Hey, don't come to work. Don't drive. Conserve on fuel. Drive 20 miles an hour down the road. Don't go any faster because we don't want you to, waste gas. Don't flush the toilet. Pee in the toilet like 3 times. We're trying to conserve water. Remember when they would do that? We're not going to serve you no water. We're in a drought. You go to the restaurant and they don't give you water. Well, I need a water. Sorry. We can't give you any water. We're in a drought. No gas. Sorry. Once again, Trump lies to manipulate the markets. Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi says there is no truth to the claim of negotiations with any party in Iran. Al Jazeera. Once again, Trump's making it seem like there's a negotiation going on with Iran again. He keeps doing this when we know that Iran does not want to negotiate. They want to keep bombing us. They want to keep, neutralizing and weakening us, making us look stupid. They like this. This is something that they're relishing right now. They are doing a very good job of it. And Russia's probably just cheering them on, saying, go, Iran, go. Now, here's that map I was telling you about. Look at this map. This is basically, it shows you here, April 15th. Right there, United States. Most deliveries of diesel are going to slow down and or stop. That's coming out of the Middle East. Gas and diesel fuel shortages are going to happen soon globally. The supply loss from the closure of the Strait of Hormuz acts as an air pocket moving through the normal flow of oil out of the Gulf. This helpful map from J.P. Morgan highlighting when that air pocket will land, quote unquote, in a different major consuming regions, in different major consuming regions. East Africa happened last week. East Asia is happening this week. Europe is happening next week, and this is a week old. And North America in 2 weeks. So there you go. Read it and weep. Korean Air takes emergency action as fuel prices soar. A spokesman for the national flag carrier said on Tuesday that it will implement internal cost reduction measures to manage its finances to ensure the firm's stability amidst rising fuel prices and global economic uncertainty. So this is going to collapse businesses too. I mean, they're probably going to have to just lay off and downsize and shut down flights, even to in some way continue as a company. Airlines have adopted similar emergency protocols to protect their businesses during the crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. In recent days, several of the country's carriers, including Korean Air, Asiana Airlines, and Busan Air, have entered emergency management mode. It's kind of like life support. These businesses are on life support. Southeast Asia is being hit very hard right now. South African citrus industry is warning of fuel crisis threats. So this is going to affect, by the way, the drought. Oh, God, that's another topic. Let's just get through this really quick so I can get into that. South Africa is the world's second largest exporter of citrus. He pointed out, and citrus is the country's largest agricultural export. So this is going to affect the citrus, vitamin C, of so many humans on planet Earth. Observers have said that it will be a devastating blow for the fresh produce industry, and particularly the citrus industry, which is embarking on its new season from April. All right, the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush and its accompanying warships are deploying to the Middle East, joining the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Gerald Ford strike carrier groups in the region. The U.S. could have 3 aircraft carriers in the region for the foreseeable future, the officials said. The Navy declined to comment on future operations. The George W. Bush departed naval stations Norfolk and Virginia on Tuesday, according to a Navy press release. It could take the carrier weeks to reach the region. The Lincoln is operating in the Arabian Sea, and the Ford is at the port in Croatia for repairs. Now, I heard those repairs are going to be a long period. There's a lot of things wrong with that ship. So I think that ship's out of commission for right now. Trump was refused an airbase use in Sicily for planes that were heading to Iran. All U.S. Middle East bases are destroyed. So they can't even launch an attack because those bases have been hit and or taken out of commission by Iranian missiles. And now Sicily is not allowing us to use their base. All your bases are become ours. Poland refused to send Patriot air defense systems to the Middle East after a U.S. request. They're saying, nope, we're keeping them because we need to defend our airspace, and you don't need them, U.S. You're already boasting about everything that you can do. You don't need our 2 missile defense system, Patriot missile defense systems. Now, do we own those? Did we loan them to them, or did we sell them to Poland? It would be interesting if we had loaned it to them, or that were somehow given to them, just as a defense posture of NATO, and that they weren't willing to give it back to us. It's like we're saying, hey, we own these things, give them back to us. And Poland's like, no, we're keeping them. Sorry. Pretty crazy. We just showed you that one. Illinois bill turns hospitals into mass influenza shot intake points for every adult, mandates universal identification and targeting system. The legislation comes as governments at the international, federal, and state levels continue building coordinated influenza pandemic response systems. It's just like they're planning for this. It's almost like they're getting ready for a COVID 2.0. And they're laying down all of the new infrastructure on top of what was already laid for COVID in preparation for round 2. And a lot of that, infrastructure they laid, they're saying is kind of coinciding with what's happening with this whole, fuel shortage. And it could go along with like martial law. If something were to happen, they have everything kind of set up where, they might be able to implement some of those same protocols and just cross over to a new kind of crisis. Instead of a pandemic, it could be, no fuel, because there's a lot of fuel lockdowns right now where countries are telling their people to stay home and not go anywhere. So, I mean, this could be something that we could be seeing as well. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be martial law. I know they've got the National Guard activated all across the United States, and they've given them those special orders as of January 2026 for quick response National Guard teams to be deployed anywhere in the United States at a moment's notice, like 500 strong units. Not to mention the 22 different states, mostly red, that have been activated under federal law, right? The blue states didn't go along with it, but the red states did. But even federal and state and local governments, or state and local law enforcement in many of these states have also been federalized in some way to be available in a time of crisis. Why are they preparing all this? Are they expecting? You have to ask yourself, this is what everybody was asking right at the turn of 2026, when all these things were happening and they were getting everything lined up and ready. People were wondering, like, what's coming? Is there something big about to happen? Yeah. We were telling you, it's coming. Don't worry. It's about to get here. It's going to be something big, like a global war or something is coming. And it's going to affect everything, even the homeland. Technofascism. Technofascism. Trump forms Council on Science and Technology, features Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg, and others. Melania says robots can replace teachers. And hey, why not? If you don't like your husband, you can just get a robot. He'll take care of you better than your husband will. And guys, if you want a woman that doesn't talk back, then just get a robot woman. Whatever you say, dear. He'll be like, yes. That's what President Trump needs. He needs a robot staff. They're like, we love you, Trump. You are the most amazing, the most awesome ever. We call you Messiah. You are the alpha male. Oh, gosh. New bill opens the door for killer AI weapons. Pentagon can override ban and deploy autonomous lethal systems. The Pentagon approved AI systems could independently identify and engage targets, making life and death decisions without real-time human input. And that was what they were doing in Gaza. They were already experimenting with this AI kill software and weapon system. And they were doing it also in Ukraine. So they are getting a lot of real-time experience on the go with this system. And they're probably going to use this in other, theaters, wherever there's chaos. So hopefully there's not chaos in the U.S. because maybe they'll use it here too. Waiver clause grants a single Pentagon official the power to authorize AI-driven lethal force under national security conditions, with Congress only notified after the fact. There is no language in that waiver clause limiting where the system can be used, whether targets are foreign or domestic. The bill has been read twice in the Senate and referred to the Senate Armed Services Committee, where it now awaits further consideration. That's scary. That is John Fleetwood's Substack. And these are the only places you're going to find a lot of this information is on people's Substack that do the deep research and actually share it, because mainstream media is only looking after clickbaity, monetized information that feels good and is politically relevant, I guess. Okay, so there's some more stuff going on here. Let's see where that's going. That was earlier. Okay, so this is not sure where that's at, but anyway, it's okay. Some more? Let's see what that one is. Capernaum, all around there. Okay. Yep. And by the way, these drones can have weapons on them too. Laser. Well, they got all kinds of things that they can put on these things. What? Oh, really? Haifa? And Tel Aviv. Oh my gosh, we got to go over there. Okay, let's go. We got to go. Okay, Tel Aviv and Haifa. Tel Aviv and Haifa. All right, so be watching the two top feeds. And, oh, Haifa's not in here. Is this Haifa? Oh, yeah, the one on the bottom left. This one right here is Haifa, okay? And then the one on the bottom left is the same one, so we'll watch all these. All right, you can watch the signal down here where you see this right here. Oh, shoot, I'm in the way there. Let me get myself out of the way here. Oops. If you see down here at the bottom, you'll see the sound, and you'll also see the sound up here at the top. That'll tell you when the bombs hit. You'll see it go up, so you'll know where the bombs are hitting. I heard another one. There'll be more, I bet. Let's see. Okay, so I heard just a few, but didn't seem to be that many on this one. So usually it happens after the sirens go off. Sometimes it happens a couple minutes later, but the Israelis are not. The alarm goes off, everybody goes into their bunker, and then it goes off, and everybody should be in their bunker by that time. But then they get an all clear, and they're allowed to come out after a certain point. I'm not sure how long that is, but while the sound, there goes one. I heard another one. Okay, so I guess that's probably it for right now, huh? Sometimes you don't hear anything. Sometimes you hear a few. They're far away. Sometimes they're really loud, and you can see the smoke, and you can see them hit. And this one just seems like it was kind of farther away. All right, that's it for that. All right, so all right, let's go through some of this. So this guy says he's probably a liberal. He probably hates Trump, the way he talks. And I, you know, like I said, I'm political atheist here, apolitical. I look at both sides. So don't try to tell me I'm a Democrat or a liberal. I have criticisms for both. Right now, I think what's happening with this administration needs to be looked at because they're the ones in charge. So, you know, that's the focus right now. But this guy here, I'm not sure what, you know, he sounds like he's upset. He if I can't cut out his language, if I forgot exactly where it's at, please forgive me for the foul language that he uses at the end. But here, listen to what he had to say. Tell me, this is kind of going viral right now on other channels, but listen, this is a lot of people are talking like this about supposed information. I'm going to show you in a minute.
Not sure if you heard this one yet, but the United States were trying to put boots on the ground in Kuwait. They were putting their boats, bringing the soldiers from the big boats to the mainland, and Iran blew up the boats and blew up the base and killed who knows how many people. I'm sure the United States is not going to tell anybody what that number is, but there's so many injured soldiers that the soldiers had to be moved to 3 different hospitals. And Iran, because the United States has been bombing their hospitals, maybe you didn't know that either, but Iran has said that any hospital that has soldiers from the United States in it is a legitimate target. So all of those soldiers that are sitting in those hospitals need to either get the fuck with your missing limbs and all, or you're going to get blown up. And that's where we are. Good job, Trump.
So he basically said that that's what's happening. Now, I've kind of looked around to see if I can confirm any of these claims about these attacks. And I know that there has been a lot of talk about our bases being destroyed and that they're precision strikes with very powerful munitions that are hypersonic. And I wouldn't doubt that they got through the defenses, the air defenses. So there's probably some legitimacy to some of these claims about bases being destroyed. Now, what about American troops being killed in mass? I don't know. I'm not going to say it's confirmed or anything, but here's another post on this. It says it was reported. This is what everybody's talking about. It was reported on Friday, March 27th, the night it happened. It was also reported on one of Iran's Lego videos. Some of the Lego videos summarize all of Iran's hits. And it says that the Iranian Naval Force, Wave 84, Yaman Hawa Shahid Iqab operation claims to have sunk and burned American vessels and killed a number of U.S. soldiers. Target American forces at the port of Al-Shakukun and the coast port of Dubai. Weapons used, Qadar 380 ballistic missiles and cruise missiles and destructive drones. 6 American LCU combat landing craft struck in the port of Al-Shayunk. This was probably in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi. I can't remember which one it was. Or Dubai. Yeah, Dubai. 3 were confirmed to be sinking or sunk, and the remaining vessels reported on fire. Simultaneous drone strikes on American drone unit officer gathering centers on the Dubai coast, and at least one hotel in Dubai reported as direct hits. A large number of American soldiers reported killed in the operation. Now, if they have intel on where these meetings are being held and they get coordinates given to them by the Russians from satellite, those are precision strikes. And they could take out locations very easily, just like we're doing, just so you understand. So this is very feasible. It's very possible that this has that this could have taken place. Someone said, this is more likely true. The reports I read refer to the staged landing craft were destroyed, not that they were full of troops, mind you. Okay. So there you got that. Now we're getting into the other stuff, and I'm not going to play this dude's face because he doesn't have his shirt on, and the only reason I can think of that he didn't put his shirt on is because he's all buffed out and he wants to show off how strong he looks. So we'll just cut his buffed out body and just listen to what he has to say. It's like we're looking at some naked dude talk about politics. like this dude is this is so funny. Maybe I'll try that sometime and see if I can increase my numbers. You guys all want to see my buffed my pecs and my, what do they call it? I don't even know the terms. But, you know, if I was into bodybuilding, I guess I would know all that. The one guy I do like to watch, though, that is a bodybuilder, is that dude who goes around. He looks like a janitor, and he goes into these bodybuilding gyms, and he's around all these big guys, and he pretends like he's just like some foreign, janitor, and he's got this mop that weighs like 150 pounds, and he's sitting there just using it like a regular mop, and then he starts talking to them about, oh, that little weight is so doesn't look very easy. I want to try it. Can I try this? do you think I can do this? I want to try to practice. I want to get into weightlifting. And they're like laughing at him. You got these big buff guys that are lifting this huge amount of weight, and they're trying to lift it up, and then he comes over and they all laugh at him, and then he just goes and he picks it up like it's nothing. Picks it up with one hand, and they're like totally shocked at this guy. Have you seen those videos? Hilarious. You got to go check that guy out. That guy gets millions and millions of views. That dude is so funny. He does this all the time and shocks everybody. But anyway, I just got off on a tangent there. Okay, so what we're talking about here is geoengineering. Now, a lot of people have been saying that they're seeing chemtrails everywhere. Okay, and there's this weather anomaly now that it's going to bring a dust bowl to America. Literally, it's causing a drought, right? All across America, huge heat wave. They're saying that they're trying to geoengineer the sky by spraying it to shut the sun out so that it will dim the sun. And this is what they call geoengineering, and it's a program that's been ongoing for quite some time. And you have to wonder if the program itself is causing all the problems to the planet, or if it's actually them trying to stop the sun from frying our crops and everything else. I don't know. But this has been ongoing. Now there's an Israeli company that is now doing this spraying. And a lot of people are kind of worried about this company now coming to do this. And we've been seeing the spraying going on in our area, which we never saw before. So this is actually kind of new for where we're at. But some of you, like in California, we used to see it all the time in California. The whole sky gets crisscrossed with, these chemtrails, and then it turns into a big cloud. Nice blue sunny day, and then all of a sudden, bam, the whole sky turns into a cloud because there's about a dozen crisscrossing clouds from planes in the sky. I just hate when I see that. Just terrible. So this says a mysterious startup is developing a new form of solar engineering. It's called Stardust. An Israeli startup intends to patent its unique aerosol technology for temporarily cooling the planet. And this was an article that goes way back this was March of 2025. So that was last year. And this was in Wired. Now, I did a little search on this because I saw the talk on this. And so what they said was, listen to what this guy says. Let me get this guy's buffed body out of the way. Now listen to what he has to say.
Today we're going to talk about who's spraying us, who's contracting them, and who's in charge. First up, from Fargo, North Dakota, there's an aerial-based company called Weather Modification, Inc.
All right, I probably should show you some of what is on his screen because there are pictures. Let me just put his head on there. Okay, let's try that.
Main goal, cloud seeding, refracting solar rays, stopping climate change, reversing global warming. Be on the lookout for the new guy. Stardust Solutions is an Israeli-American founded company that specializes in targeted aerosol injections into the Earth's atmosphere. Next up is a company called We Make Sunsets. They're a newer company and they specialize in reflecting sunlight into space by using sulfur dioxide as an aerosol injection, which is the same exact product that comes after a volcano erupts. It temporarily cools the Earth. That's all. Temporary. These companies are all being independently contracted by the government, agricultural sectors, water management districts, all the above. What's crazier is the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is pushing for this as a good thing when they don't understand the long-term effects of these chemicals. Something about manipulating Mother Nature and messing with God does not sit well with me.
Okay, so then we got this. This sounds more conspiratorial, but listen to what she says.
Erin Elizabeth Health Nut News, and it's a little chilly here tonight, but I just want to remind you.
She talks like this, and then she squints her eyes, and her name is Elizabeth Health Nut. So maybe she is kind of out there, but just take it with a grain of salt. She does have 236,000 followers. So I guess we can listen to kind of what she has to say.
That in 47 minutes, it will be April 1st, Eastern Standard Time, which some say was the real New Year, but we don't need to go there now. But Stardust Solutions out of Israel, who's never touched Israel with any of their chemicals, will be spraying here in the United States. They will be spraying 11 miles high. You can look this up. And they say it will be similar to volcanic ash. And on their website, it says it's to combat global warming, and they will be blocking or dimming the sun or blotting the sun. They've used different words throughout the years. So get ready. Unfortunately, we don't have any way of stopping them because our EPA, there's a loophole. That's how they're doing this. And then they're planning on getting government contracts. And the worst part is that there are billionaire investors that are American and from all over, actually, you can look them up too, who are funding this. So they are going to spray us like roaches. Just thought I'd give you the good news, and happy April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke. I wish it were. Peace.
They're going to spray us like roaches. Israelis are just going to come over here and start spraying us. Hey, it'll bring about a new world order. All right. Israel will rise to power as Europe falls apart and the United States collapses, and all, they consolidate power all around the world. Who knows? All right. And let's see what else we got here. We're over here at the Telegram once again. Let's see what else we got on here. What else do we got on tap? UKMTO, Yukamoto warning, whatever that means. Okay, UK Maritime Trade Operations. And it's reporting that an oil tanker has been struck by a projectile 17 nautical miles north off the coast of Doha, Qatar, causing damage to the hull above the waterline. And that would be right over here. If you can see that. That's pretty far away from the strait. That's way over here. Wonder what's going on there. Maybe Iran's mad. The United Arab Emirates is preparing to help the U.S. and other allies open the Strait of Hormuz by force, Arab officials said, a move that would make the first Persian Gulf country to become a combatant after being hit by Iranian attacks. They must be really in an existential threat to be going to war with us. Well, we really hit the hornet's nest. Somebody's like, oh yeah, the hornet's nest. Now we're just going to take a blowtorch to it. We're going to just torch it. Don't think that's what we did. I think what we did is we just hit it with a baseball bat. We didn't really neutralize them at all, in spite of what Trump's big ego wants to believe and wants you to believe. They are still very dangerous and have a huge stockpile of weapons they haven't even touched yet. So don't be telling me that we neutralized them. We're just listening to a bunch of lies and hopium to get you to sedate yourself and shut up and sit down and come along until we start destroying the rest of the world. We're setting the world on fire. That's what we're doing. And Trump's sitting there fiddling on the fiddle while he's building his nice underground lair underneath the ballroom. Did you know that there's a big, deep underground complex they're building underneath there? They're saying it's some kind of big bunker. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get it ready in time anyway. Iranian drones have struck multiple fuel tanks at Kuwait International Airport, according to the Kuwait Civil Aviation Authority. Poland has joined the growing list of countries refusing to bail Trump out of this war on Iran. Earlier today, Polish Defense Minister publicly rejected a U.S. request to move Poland's air defenses, stating verbatim, quote, "Our Patriot batteries are used to protect Polish skies and NATO's eastern flank. We have no plans to relocate them or to use them for other purposes. Poland currently operates 2 Patriot batteries and is prioritizing its own security against regional threats, with officials citing the need to protect their airspace as part of the country's broader Wisla defense program. And then this is Reagan. I don't know if you've ever seen Reagan talk about the alien agenda. Listen to what he says. Listen to what this speech of Reagan.
Perhaps we need,
back when he was at the UN. Listen to what he says.
perhaps we need some outside universal. What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Yeah, so I guess that will unite us is a big alien deception. Now, remember, Vernon von Braun said, what is that? Merced.
California.
Central California. That's pretty crazy. I never saw that. That's kind of crazy. So anyways, let's finish up here. I know we're going long here, but it's okay. It's a late night. Trump looks really happy about releasing those files. I wonder if he's going to redact a whole bunch of files on the release. And we're not going to get exactly what we thought we were going to get. Experts warn that Iran's new leader is obsessed with end times and believes himself to be prophesied figure paving the way for the Mahdi, which is their Messiah. Manjotaba Khomeini and supporters think that he is the Khorasani tasked with conquering Jerusalem and Mecca. So they're fitting into their biblical end time eschatological view of their role in bringing about this end times. Their prophetic, I should say, role, because they believe that they are fulfilling the destiny of their scripture at this very moment, and that they're going to destroy Jerusalem and Mecca. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff times. Very strange. Iran's war against Israel, the Shia eschatological vision, and messianic conflict. This is why we talk about faith and the Bible in light of different beliefs and faiths and the different versions of what they believe to be their prophecies fulfilled. And I try to give you guys a broad understanding of what I personally understand and know. Not to mention my understanding of the Bible itself when we do our prophetic deep dives and our devotionals and the prophecy that the Spirit of God ultimately is the spirit of prophecy, right? The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. When you do gather together in his name, the Spirit of God does show up. So become aware of how the Spirit of God not only lives within you, but he is dwelling in the midst of the church itself, and he speaks to us as a corporate body. How many of you guys know the corporate presence of the Lord as well? Not just an internal peace and an internal understanding that maybe the Lord's speaking to your heart, and you've got a personal peace and a wisdom that you know is from God. But I'm talking about when he walks amongst the candlesticks. Okay, that's what we're doing tomorrow night, or tomorrow. Maybe it is tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow for the Passover. Don't miss it. I'll let everybody know what the time and the links are. Tomorrow morning, I'll try to post the time and the link, okay? So everybody doesn't miss it. It'll probably be sometime later on in the day, maybe in the evening, but I want to make sure everybody is aware of the time and the place. But I do believe God wants to get everybody prepared for what's happening and understand what's happening and be ready for what's coming. And that's what the Spirit of truth does. He not only leads us into all truth, He not only comforts us, he not only shows us things to come, but he is an ever-present help in time of trouble. And he is your defense and your bulwark. And he is the one that covers you, so he passes over you in judgment. You better have the covering. You better have the one that watches over you, hems you in behind and before. He's your high tower, right? The righteous run into it and are safe. The name of the Lord is a high tower. All right, this is Mayor Zani of Tehran says that the post-war Iran will rise to a new level and prepare humanity for the coming of Mahdi. The Shia Islam, and this is what the Jews are saying too. So, Jews are saying it, the Christians are saying it, the Muslims are saying it, all right now. It's like everyone is saying it right now that the Messiah is about to appear, and that the Antichrist or the Dajjal is also appearing at this point too. And I believe the Shia Muslims think that Trump is the Dajjal. They think he's the Antichrist. And that's the Shia Muslims. Shia Islam, and if you don't know the difference between Shia and Sunni Islam, there are two branches. They fight amongst each other. It's kind of like Catholics and Protestants in days gone by. Okay, so then we have the Shia Islam, the Mahdi, Muhammad al-Mahdi was born in 869 CE and did not die. He is believed to be over 1,100 years old and is still alive, and he will reappear, they believe. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's supposed to be coming on a horse. Is that true? Is that true? Let me see. I think that's okay. In Islamic traditions, horses are considered blessed, with sayings indicating goodness is tied to them until the day of judgment. While the Mahdi is a prophesied messianic figure in Islamic eschatology, specific, direct, and canonical descriptions of a unique named horse belonging to the Mahdi are not explicitly highlighted in mainstream narratives, though traditionally heavily emphasized. The significance of horses for the righteous. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, Tel Aviv again. Let's go back. Hold on. It's going down again. All right, we're going to hear it again. let's see if we hear anything here. Every once in a while we get to see some big explosions and booms, but a lot of times it's far away explosions. Another oil tanker is burning off the coast of Qatar. Okay, I think we reported that one. Okay. It don't look nothing like nothing happened there. Okay, so getting back to this is some of the footage out of Tel Aviv. Looks like a building was hit here. And I think that's it. I think we're going to call it for tonight. I think that's it, guys. Are you guys good? You got your fill of all the doom and gloom? Oh, I was going to show you the horse. The Mahdi horse. See if this is it. Hold on one second. Yeah. Look at this. Check this out. Tell me who this is.
Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? A black horse has been seen flying over Saudi Arabia. Now, I've seen the video. I've watched it about 10 times. You can hear the young people that are watching this freaking out, and basically they believe, you can tell they believe it is a sign from Allah. What you're looking at is right there is a still picture of what appeared to be a black flying horse.
That's, you know who that is, right? What it was a balloon. It was a balloon. It was one of those horse balloons that you guys, like, somebody let it go. Paul Begley was like, it's a flying horse.
Through the sky in some type of a storm in Saudi Arabia. Now, this could be a total hoax. And what I mean by that is, it could very well be, and I would lean more toward it being a hoax.
There you go. Now you're talking, Paul Begley. You got it. All right. So anyways, guys, be there tomorrow and get ready for a great communion service with the Lord in our midst. We're going to overcome the world, the flesh, and the devil. Amen. How many of you guys believe and trust that God has you during these crazy times? People are not going to, there's no such thing as a atheist in a foxhole. And when your back is up against the wall and your life is this close to ending, that's when you start getting some faith. But until then, you're going to just continue on as normal as much as possible. Hopefully, the Holy Spirit grabs a hold of your heart ahead of time and prepares you in advance. More blessed are those who believe and yet don't see. Unless you're like Thomas and you're cerebrally scientific in every jot and tittle. I got to fly on an airplane, but I got to know exactly how it works before I get on. No, you don't. You just get on and you trust that the pilot knows what he's doing and the plane mechanic did his job, and then you fly to where you're going, right? Well, you get on the plane with the Lord, and you trust that the Lord is going to get you to where he's going, and he'll make sure he lets you know what you need to know until you get there. Amen. All right. So trust the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean upon your own understanding. That doesn't mean don't use your understanding. It just means don't put your trust in it. Have you ever heard that saying, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see? That means even what you think you know, you who are wise, become a fool, that you might become wise, as it says. And you who think you stand, beware lest you fall. And pride does come before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. And you may not think you're prideful or haughty and you think you got it all figured out, but when, like Mike Tyson had it down, the reason why Mike Tyson was, because he understood this. Everybody has a plan until they're punched in the jaw. When life hits you upside the head, that's when you realize there is a God. You need God, and God is going to make himself very clearly known. He's going to show himself to you at those moments. So just pray to get punched in the jaw so you get ready ahead of time, okay? So that sometimes pain is what it takes, right? Learned he obedience through the things that he suffered. Where does it say that? It says that about Jesus. And Jesus was God himself in the flesh, right? Why did he have to go through suffering? To learn obedience, because his body needed to comply with what his spirit already was, incarnate, deity. The body still needed to be trained, and it needed to come under submission. And you, as a regenerate, born from above, spirit from the Lord Most High, regenerating your soul and spirit, needs to learn obedience through suffering. And thank God for suffering, amen? Because when you submit to the Lord, he begins the transformation process in your heart and soul. And that's why you don't lean upon your own understanding. But trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not upon your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him. And then he will direct your steps. He's going to tell you which way to go. This is the way, walk in it. You're going to hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. You're not going to be hearing your own logic and reason. If you're a true believer, you're going to be hearing the Lord's direction. And your own thoughts are going to be like, yay and amen. I'll follow you, Lord. I'd go where you're telling me to go rather than where I want to go, because I know my way is a way of death. There is a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is the way of death. So if you go your own way, you're going to find yourself in a foxhole, and then you're going to find yourself in faith, right? Because you're not going to be there unless you've got faith. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going into a foxhole, guys. Titanic is sinking, and when it's getting closer, everybody's going to have faith. Just like on the back of that Titanic ship. You ever see that movie? Everybody's holding on to the priest, and the priest is everybody's looking at the priest. Well, that's what happens when you're getting close. But you don't have to wait till the very end. Get it right now. Get on your knees and pray and ask God to come into your heart now. Seek him while he may be found. Work while it is still day, for the night is coming when no one can work. Once it gets dark, it's over. Fair weather, friends. Thief on the cross, conversion, deathbed conversion. I guess it's better than nothing, but hey, God is looking for friends that aren't just fair weather or last minute. He wants you to be always on in good times and bad. Amen? How many of you guys are good times and bad friends with the Most High? Then when it's bad times, hey, he comes through. Thank God he always comes through, no matter what. Even in the good times, he's going to direct you. You trust in him in the good times too. so that your success doesn't destroy you. You know, if you don't trust in the Lord in the good times, then what happens is you get consumed with your success, and then you forget the Lord. And then you go your own way because it's too good. You don't need the Lord now. Hey, you got it all made. You got all kinds of good things coming in. Now you need the Lord. Oh, but yes, you do. You even need him more. That's the worst. That's the worst temptation, is when you got it all. That's the devil's greatest temptation, is giving you what you want, so you don't think that you need him. So I pray that, you know, he starts ratcheting down that pain threshold down so that you can start realizing you need him now. Amen. All right, guys. God bless. Love you all. I pray the best for you in Jesus' name, and that you grab hold of eternal life. Don't let it go. Pursue him with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. Amen. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then you're going to find, you know, the Lord is there. He's going to take care of all the rest. In the meantime, I will see you guys back tomorrow. Get prepared. Get ready. Make sure you got your bread and your wine. I was going to say your oil, but hey, we might need the oil too. This might be it. The oil, you got to have the light. But you need your bread and your wine for tomorrow, or your orange juice or apple juice or whatever you want to use. Grape juice. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless, and